All right, so we're tracking a number of stories for you, and in this hour, as we normally do, we go right across the country to try and bring you your stories in your areas, and we use our reporters that are locally based on the ground to tell the South African story, and we're the only people that can do this. And so right now it's time for us to go to Mpumalanga, where teaching and learning has been halted at a primary school in Matsulu, just outside Mbombela actually, after 6 classrooms were gutted by fire earlier this morning. And this is the 3rd school to be torched in less than 3 days. Over the weekend, 2 schools were torched in Siyabuswa. And for more on that story, we're now joined by our reporter Siphephile kunene. Thanks very much for joining us on the program. Tell us about this fire incident today. And we're using the word torched. So does this sound as if it was deliberate?
Evening, Peter. The word torched, I think it's a word that we have been using these days. At the moment, it hasn't been established whether the fire was started by somebody or something just erupted and started the fire. But speculations are that there was a strike yesterday in the area, a protest in fact, whereby it died towards the evening. Then the following morning, this fire in this school started. Nobody has claimed responsibility for it, and the police are still investigating. They're calling on anyone who has information to come forward and give it to them so that the perpetrators could be arrested and be brought to book.
It does seem a bit strange that there were other fires literally in the last week.
It is strange, and the department is actually concerned. They're saying it's becoming a trend, a bad one for that matter. For instance, in this school, it's primary school kids. When parents take them to school at their age, they expect them to be in school for a certain period of time wherein they are safe. But when you have to let go of them at around 7 in the morning, as soon as they get to the school, you let them go. They are unsafe. They return to an unsafe environment because there's no one at home. So it is very disturbing because right now we're standing at more than 5 schools that have been burnt in the province since the beginning of this year.
So now 6 classrooms is quite a lot, and I just wonder just how ferocious was this fire that so many classrooms could have been destroyed without anyone being able to contain them?
Witnesses say it was a really huge blaze. They couldn't contain it on their own. And what made the matter worse was that the fire department isn't available around Matsulu. Anyone who's going to put out the fire has to drive from Nelspruit. And it's commonly known that it takes long for them to get there. Having gotten there at the time that they got there, the fire had already spread to other classes.
Can you tell us perhaps if you know what kind of firefighting equipment the school has? Are there any safety procedures maybe that weren't deployed that could have helped?
Unfortunately, there isn't any, because when we went to the school to inspect, there wasn't anything that suggests that they tried to put out the fire using their own equipment. Instead, the parents were saying we tried to put out the fire using our buckets, using our water from the tap. Like, there wasn't anything else. The school doesn't have the necessary equipment to take care of itself in such times. Basically, there's no hose pipe that one can use to put out any fire that starts.
All right, Siphephile, that's where we're going to leave it. Thank you very much indeed for giving us an update. A tragic story there where we've lost 3 schools literally in a week, all by fire. Police are investigating. We're using the word torch, but we're not sure at this stage whether it was done deliberately or it was an accident. But what is clear is that firefighting equipment is very, very urgently needed in these schools, particularly located in our rural areas. Kirshni?